For about 2 years now, I've really struggled to define my stance on the abortion issue after being firmly pro-choice in my younger lefty years. And it's not me fence-sitting. It's not me avoiding picking a firm side because I'm afraid to defend something difficult. It's me struggling to reconcile what I view, or at least viewed, as two compelling interests. I've always seen this issue as a clash between the liberty interest on the part of the mother versus the moral interest in preserving life. And generally speaking, every pro-choice person I knew, myself included, granted the existence of the life in the womb and the moral implications of ending that life, and that the choice to do so ought to be mourned, never celebrated. The reason I say my perspective was challenged 2 years ago is because of a specific incident at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland in July 2016. I attended the event and was out talking to protesters at one time with a Shout Your Abortion group. And I do have footage of this encounter somewhere on my computer. I searched for it to make this video, but I couldn't find it, something I'll have to track down later. The point is that during this exchange, this female peer of mine was making the case to me that abortion ought to be some sort of source of pride, that it ought to be publicly advertised as some kind of virtue. It was the first time someone had made the case to me that abortion was something to be celebrated, and it made me think hard about my own perspective. I'd long been sympathetic to the pro-choice liberty argument on behalf of the mother, but this was the first time I could remember that somebody made the case to me that there are no moral implications to abortion at all, that there is no life at stake at all, and that women who have abortions should be publicly celebrated. And since that day, I've really struggled to find my own position, because I find any association with people who deny the moral implications of ending an innocent life far beyond what I'm willing to accept. Flash forward to today, and I'm confronted with a similar abortion celebration, this time from alleged comedian Michelle Wolf, of whom I first heard when she hosted the White House Correspondents' Dinner back in the spring. She had all the comedic appeal of Amy Schumer presented in the voice of Fran Drescher on helium.
And I'm never really sure what to call Sarah Huckabee Sanders. You know, is it Sarah Sanders? Is it Sarah Huckabee Sanders? Is it Cousin Huckabee? What's Uncle Tom but for white women who disappoint other white women?
But I get it. It's a roast. I'm not going to be mad at you for roasting too hotly. It just matters to me whether it's funny or not. To me, this wasn't funny, so it's not for me. So goodbye, Michelle Wolf. I hope I never hear your weird kazoo voice again. But I did, because she's back with a new show on Netflix called The Break, with a segment this week called Salute to Abortion. And before I discuss the segment, I gotta say, I have difficulty understanding how I'm supposed to interpret this piece. Is it simply shock comedy, as in it's just outrageous and tongue-in-cheek? I actually like shock comedy, but good shock comedy exposes taboo truth. What makes shock comedy funny is we know what the comedian is saying is true, it's just we can't say it ourselves for social etiquette or other reasons. I don't see any taboo truth being exposed in this piece, just a devaluing or even outright denial of human life that's very difficult to enjoy. My point is, either as a comedy piece or sincere advocacy, this segment fails to appeal in any way. Michelle starts by doing exactly what I was talking about previously, just outright denying that there's even a life at stake.
Some people say abortion is killing a baby. It's not. It's stopping a baby from happening. It's like Back to the Future and abortion is the DeLorean. And everyone loves DeLoreans.
Just some people say that. I went to the dictionary to make sure I wasn't mistaken. If we're ending a pregnancy, what exactly are we ending? Right, we are ending a child, or baby, developing in the uterus. So when you say some people say, you mean the dictionary, you mean medical science, you mean anyone with a base level moral conscience, you mean anyone with a basic understanding that a baby doesn't just magically appear on the day of its birth. But to the actual reasoning here, abortion is not like a time machine, and that's the problem. Abortion is not going back in time to undo the conception of that child. Abortion is ending the life of that child as it exists today. It is not preventing its existence yesterday.
And I know some people call themselves pro-life, but pro-life is a propaganda term that isn't real, like healthy ice cream and handsome testicles. Get the terminology straight. First of all, these people are anti-abortion, which means they're anti-woman.
Stop. Please explain. If I don't think women should be killing their offspring, that means I hate women? What about the lives of the women you're ending? You're the one advocating the end of female life, but everyone else is anti-woman?
If these people were actually pro-life, they would be fighting hard for healthcare, childcare, education, gun control, and protecting the environment.
On what basis do you say these people oppose healthcare, childcare, education, or environmental quality? Because they disagree with you that the federal government ought to administer these things? I guarantee you every pro-life person is in favor of quality, affordable care and education and a clean world to live in. They just disagree with your plan for how to achieve it, and with good reason. Centralized control has a very poor track record whenever it's tried. Now, as far as guns, they're pretty effective tools for protecting life. I guarantee your life, Michelle, is being protected in your studio right now by guns.
But these anti-abortion people do not care about life. They just care about birth. Like, they think that's the only place you can watch a woman shit on a table.
Okay, maybe this is one of those shock value jokes to compare birth to just taking a shit. Or maybe it's sincere from a person whose birth was apparently very similar to just taking a shit.
One of the original slogans for the women's movement was abortion on demand. And that's exactly what it should be. As easy and safe as pushing the on-demand button in the middle of your remote to order Paddington 2. Actually, abortion might be safer because that little guy will steal your heart.
Yes, that bear will steal your heart. Unlike your own child, which is actually just a pile of shit you don't even have to worry about. Deny human life, praise a cartoon bear as higher in value, receive seal applause. I can't even believe what I'm watching.
Now, men, I'm sorry. I'm sure this brings up a lot of feelings and thoughts and points that you want to make, and I just want you to know that's all very irrelevant.
Right. You get to dismiss me, not on my reasoning or my arguments, but on account of my gender. Because you're anti-sexist. Got it.
Abortions are a woman's right, and I know acknowledging that is hard for some of you because that would mean you'd also have to acknowledge that women are naturally equipped to do the most powerful thing in the world. Give life. If women embrace the fact that they control life, that makes it a lot harder for men to control women. Of course men are uncomfortable with that. They won't even let us control a little bit of Star Wars.
Okay, Princess Leia is actually the most important character in the original Star Wars trilogy. Every plotline surrounds her, so don't give me this no women in Star Wars crap. Just stop writing stories that suck. But to the point, neither gender has the unique capacity to control or give life. It is the partnership of the sexes that gives life to the child. Good men understand and respect women's contributions of carrying their children. Thus, they work hard to contribute themselves and to provide for those women and those children. It's not about controlling women, and it never has been. It's about valuing and protecting life, including women's. Murder laws control women. Assault laws control women. Theft laws control women. I'm not necessarily arguing for additional law here, but can we at least acknowledge that what's being frowned upon is your supposed freedom or liberty to harm another life?
And to be clear, this abortion fight isn't for me. I have money. I'll always be able to get an abortion.
No Michelle Wolf children, you say? Well, that's the most compelling pro-choice argument I've heard in this segment so far. Go on.
But abortion shouldn't be a luxury. It should be on the dollar menu at McDonald's. Hey, I'd like a large Diet Coke, and can you get this egg out of my McMuffin?
Oop, nope. See, you pushed me right back again. It's exactly this that will accelerate my gradual movement toward a more pro-life perspective. It's the denial of the innocent life involved. It's the denial of the moral implications of ending that life. It's characterizing the decision to end that life, not as a circumstantially necessary tragedy, but as a good thing.
You should be proud of it. You're doing a good thing.
It's doing a prideful marching band routine, not to salute freedom, not to salute autonomy, not to salute liberty, even the liberty to handle tragedy on your own terms, but a salute to abortion itself.
Abortion, I salute you! Women, if you need an abortion, get one! If you want an abortion, get one! If you're not pregnant but you think you eventually might be and want to order a future abortion, get one!
Imagine if your mom had the same attitude and she got one. At least then this segment wouldn't exist. Silver lining. I used to hate the term pro-abortion. I thought it was a straw man. I thought it was a misnomer. I thought nobody was actually pro-abortion, that they, like me, viewed it as a choice that was always tragic, but still a choice that ought to be protected. Nope, pro-abortion is in fact a thing, and I'm less convinced than ever that it's even a fringe minority thing. I think it's soon to be common left-wing opinion if it isn't already. When you deny any moral considerations in this issue, all I'm left with is the side that's at least honest about the innocent life at stake. A life that, if it isn't outright protected, ought to be due the basic decency of sincere consideration of its interests. It's clear I have some more thinking to do on this issue. I'm sorry to disappoint those of you who would probably like to see me take a firmer stance. All I can say is this segment got me thinking about the issue in a way that nothing else has since that eye-opening encounter with the Shout Your Abortion girl in Cleveland 2 years ago. Ironic, considering this segment's objectives. As a comedy piece, I didn't laugh once. As an advocacy piece, it actually pushed me strongly in the opposite direction, both unfunny and self-defeating. Welcome to the modern left, Michelle. You're going to fit in just fine. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below and especially over on Twitter. That is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to come hang out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Goodbye.